Jai, Tulsi Maharani ki Jai. We offer our most respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Jai. Vanjagalpa Duruvishya Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanel. I don't take water during class. Jaya Radha Madhova Kunda Bihute Jaya Radha Madhova Kunda Bihute Gopi Janamalaba Iti Barudagute Gopi Janamalaba Gidi Bhatate Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Manachare Yamuna Tira Manachate Jayaranto Madhova Kunja Bihate Jaya Radha Padova Kunja Bihate Gopinana Balagopa Girivado Dhagute Gopi Nana Balaba Girivado Dhagute Yasodanandana Rajajanurandana Yasodanandana Rajajanurandana Yamuna Chera Manachade Yamuna Tera Manachade Jayarandhu Madhava Kundabihati Jayarandhu Madhava Kundabihati Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatikacharya, also Teta Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya, Chalananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Friends, say Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidway to Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrindigajaya Shishi Radhakrishna Gopi Gopadat Sayamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Kijai Vrindavanam Kijai Maturam Kijai Jagannathasami Kijai Yamunamai Kijai Shivati Lasidevi Kijai Samveda Bhakta Vrindigajai Gaur Premalanda Hadika Go. All glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Pudle. Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachani Nivishesha Shinyavadi Paschachate Shatari. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, and we have some nice buggies on us today. So, somehow or other. From the 10th canto, 50th chapter, text 41. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Evam Saptadasha Kritvast Tavati Akshahini Bolo Yuyude Magato Raja Yadubi Krishna Valitai Evam Saptadasha Kritvas Tavat Yaksho Hanivala Yude Magado Raja Yadubi Krishna Palakai Evam Saptadasha Kritvas Tavat Aksho Hadi Bala Yude Magato Raja Yadubi Krishna Palaktai Evam Saptadasha Kritvas Tavat Yaksha Hadi Bala Yude Magato Raja Yadubi Krishna Palatai ladies. All right. Evam, in this way. Saptadasha, 17. Kritva, times. Tavati, even thus being defeated. Okshahini, consisting of entire divisions. Bala, his military strength. Yuyude, fought. Magadha Raja, the king of Magadha. Yadupi, with the Yadus. Krishna Palatai, protected by Krishna. So, translation, 17 times the king of Magadha met defeat in this very way. And yet, throughout these defeats, he fought on with his Akshahini divisions against the forces of the Yadu dynasty who were protected by Krishna. So, you can repeat 70 times the king of Magadha met defeat in this very way. And yet, throughout these defeats, he fought on with his Akshahini divisions against the forces of the Yadu dynasty who were protected by Krishna. So there's no purport to this particular text, and the acharyas basically explain the same thing in their particular commentaries. But there's a lot to be said about this particular verse. And I'm very much in admiration of Jarasandha here. And the reason I'm very much in admiration of Jarasandha is because I really admire his determination. And I wish I had the same determination to serve Krishna. You know, generally, we try something once, we try something twice. And especially if the first time we tried it, everybody got killed and all the horses got killed and they took all the jewelry away from all the horses. And I was just completely devastated. I probably wouldn't even try once. What to speak of twice. But here, 17 times. So I'm trying to find out why he's so determined so I can apply the same process maybe in my Krishna consciousness. So, all right. So, first of all, we have to understand who Jarasandha is and what his mission is and why he's so focused on his mission. Okay. These are different subject matters. So Jarasandha, of course, is our old friend Viprachiti. Everybody has heard of Viprachiti before? And he's one of the head or chief Danavas. He's not a Daicha, but the Daichas and Danavas, they're sort of buddies. That means the demons and the Danus, they're buddies. And his mother, of course, is Danu, and he has some really cool children, this Viprachiti, such as Rahu was one of his nice, cool children. He has I think it was 100 children, and just really, what a nice family he has. So, He really wants to arrange for Krishna to be killed. Now, there's a reason for that. It's not just his personal animosity towards Krishna, which he definitely has. It's that it's a strategy. You know, oftentimes we think of these demons as Hollywood monsters. Hollywood monster? Godzilla. You know, I remember when I was young, Godzilla, Frankenstein, all these mindless creatures that come out of the deep and attack you. Well, this is not a mindless creature. This is a very brilliant person. Extremely brilliant, more brilliant than probably anyone in this room except for Mother Irma. But anyway, so extremely brilliant person, and he's strategizing. You know, it's not just like, hey, let's go get him, boys. Because it's you know, that's generally how we see demons. Like I was looking at some film on the way back, Lord of the Rings, and you have these books or whatever they were, really ugly creatures. They were just attacking, and they got killed one after the other. So his strategy is, if you kill Vishnu, Krishna, all the demigods are finished. Cool. Just like, you know, you cut off everybody at one stroke. That's pretty good, isn't it? So he's trying his best to do this, and he's employing a lot of different strategies. And he has his spies everywhere. Not only is he trying strategies, he has spies in different places. For example, one may wonder, going back to the Mahabharata, why Satyavati had to be placed in a fisherman's family in spite of being the daughter of King Vasu. You know the reason for that? Because had Viprachiti, who was Jarasandha, discovered that Satyavati was supposed to be the mother. Does anyone know who she was the mother of? Anyone? Not any of you educated, not you. Half-educated people. So, and who was she the mother of? Anyone know? What? Vyasadeva. So it was understood that she was the mother of this very important avatar, Shaktavash avatar. She probably would have been killed beforehand, because the demons are very much intelligent in that regard. So therefore, she was hidden in a fisherman's family in spite of being the daughter of King Vasu. Now, how she was transferred to that family, that's a matter of contention, depending on which version of the Mahabharata you happen to read. Whether she was placed there for adoption, or she was, anyway, one version that I've read before, anyway, I'm not going to talk about the fish. The fish ate the seminal fluid and brought the, you know, it's kind of weird. So anyway, so we're not going to get into that. So to understand also his determination to kill Vishnu, not only do we have to understand the reason for it, we have to understand what impels him to be like that. And he's definitely a demon. And the demons are described in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and also in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the determination of the demons is being described. The determination of those in the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, and those in the mode of ignorance. So oftentimes we think of demons being just purely in the mode of ignorance. If they were purely in the mode of ignorance, that would be probably the best thing we could hope for. Why? Anyone have an idea? They would be sleeping all the time and intoxicated. That would be cool. Therefore, we recommend the demons drink a lot of liquor so that they can be unconscious most of the time. So Yeah, that would be really interesting. So, no, there's mixed passion and ignorance. They're destructive and they're also just enthusiastic. And determination in the mode of passion is really strong for economic development, pride, achieving things. And determination in the mode of goodness is just fixed in yoga practice. And in ignorance, it never goes beyond what? Dreaming, procrastination, like that. So we know that he's actually in passion. And because he's in passion and ignorance mixed with it, he's ready to sacrifice everything to achieve his demoniac goals, which includes sacrificing his own friends and relatives. And you see this is quite common nature of the demons. Like you see now, even today, that or in the modern world, like what is that? Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb not only killed the Hindus who he considered to be his enemies, he killed his family members so he could take over the kingdom. He imprisoned his father. Poor father had to look at his wife's mausoleum, the Taj Mahal. And so imagine doing that to your father, just putting your father in prison so you can take over the kingdom. That's actually, in one sense, that's monkey business. Because the monkeys, just to talk a little bit about animals, the monkeys, when a male monkey grows up, he actually kicks his father out of the harem and he takes over the whole harem of monkeys. So that actually occurred. It occurs with demons sometimes. So we can contrast the consciousness of demons and being ready to do anything and everything to their family members to accomplish their goals with that of Arjuna, who has all the godly qualities. Now, Arjuna, he wasn't even ready to sacrifice his cousin brothers who had done so many heinous acts, attempted to disrobe his wife. Of course, that's another controversial thing we're not going to talk about in front of Krishna Priya. So anyway, they they attempted to disrobe his wife and so many things, but he doesn't even want to hurt them. His grandfather, he's just thinking, well, it's better just to be killed or just give up and go to the forest. And Krishna has to sort of like re-inject him with the mode of passion again to get him ready to fight. What do I mean by re-inject him with the mode of passion? He said, if you do this, people who praise you will say things unkind about you, and they will consider you basically a wimp. So that's the mode of passion. So even though Arjuna, of course, a pure devotee, but there's passion in being a Kshatriya. Even though Arjuna has this passion, there's no ignorance there. It's only pure devotional service connected with the passion. It's interesting. So, the demons are ready to do anything, even create horrible works meant to destroy the world. That's what Bhagavad Gita says, doesn't it? And we see this nowadays. We were talking a little bit about this last night. Of course, previously Prabhupada talked about the atom bomb. So we talk about something called AI. You've heard of AI? No, no one's heard of AI. That's artificial intelligence, or sometimes AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is, computer mechanism by which there may be major disasters in the world and may become uncontrollable to the hands of men. So that they create all these things just because their motive is so much wealth is mine today,
so much more, well, he is my enemy, I have conquered him. I mean, that's their whole consciousness like that, and they're ready to do anything, and they're absorbed in pride, arrogance, conceit. This is their nature, and you see this is the present leaders of society. In every country, I'm not criticizing any particular leader in this particular regard. So, how does this apply? Okay. How does this apply to us? It's very interesting that if you go to the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and you read about Lord Kapiladev's descriptions of devotional service in different modes of nature, really interesting description. You know, because in the beginning when I first joined the movement, I thought, he's a devotee. Joy. Everyone's a pure devotee. Because Prabhupada also had that vision, but that vision was based on his compassion, whereas my vision was based on illusion. Because Prabhupada was seen as everyone as they should be or could be and will be if they follow the process of Krishna consciousness, whereas I was thinking and seeing everybody as I thought they were right now, which was a great illusion. So there's a description by Lord Kapiladev about devotional service in different modes of nature, particularly mode of passion and ignorance. And one particular word really comes out at me, and that's the word separatist, which is in both categories. So what does separatist mean? You know, I always thought, you know, separatist, someone who just thinks ISKCON's the best or something like that. But it's not. Separatist, you know, it means I, me, and mine. You know, someone who's very, very self-centered and makes distinction as far as the welfare of himself with others, and is very sectarian, and employs various means of denigrating other people, whether, you know, one is denigrating people of a different gender, or one is denigrating people of a different religion. Just like you say, when we first joined the movement, you know, we learned this nomenclature, which was quite attractive, of karmis, meat eaters, demons, malachas, yavanas, rakshasas. Any other words? No? Dogs? Oh, sorry about that. We even had one devotee who quoted that verse directly to people's faces on Sankirtan. There's a friend of mine, Krishna Priya knows who I'm talking about, and so does Tulsi. He would say, you're like a dog, hog, camel, or an ass. I talk about being separatist or divisive. And, you know, this is basically materialistic religion. And somehow or other, it pervades many people in the Krishna conscious movement, many people in other religions, and this contributes to the amount of divisiveness in society and violence, religious violence that we see. And it's very, very strong. It's actually, in one sense, it's stronger than what? All you need is love, love. All you need is love. It's super strong. And you know, why is it so strong? Why is hate, divisiveness, separatism so strong? And you actually even see in the Bhagavatam, there's a description that Parikshit Maharaj is amazed at how these demons are just so focused on Krishna out of animosity. And you know, when I hear about these things, I'm just wishing I could be so focused on Krishna, not for the same reason, but so focused on Krishna. It's just like they're thinking, conscious thinking of Krishna 24 hours. Kalanemi is thinking, how can I kill him? How can let me plan how to kill him? And I'm thinking, let me go to Mangalarti, then I get to eat. Then I get to do something cool like exercise, ride on my bike, I'm not thinking like every step, isn't it? How many of us are actually thinking every single thing we do? Yat karoshi yat nashi, yat jahoshi datasi yat. How many of us are thinking like that everything we do, let me do this for Krishna. Okay, let me exercise for Krishna. How can Krishna exercise? He doesn't need to exercise. But let me exercise to keep the body strong to serve Krishna. Let me study, serve Krishna. Let me space out to serve. No. No. Let me watch the news. No, that doesn't work. So we don't think like, we're not that focused. We're not Ekeha Kurunandana, whereas these demons are actually Ekeha Kurunandana. So the interesting thing is that the negative things are actually stronger, hold the consciousness more than positive things. That's why I often say to devotees when I'm giving these seminars that you can't do a don't. Because when you try to not do a don't, you can't not do a don't, sorry. When you try not to do a don't, guess what? You do the don't, do the don't, do the don't. You do the don't more than, forgive me for this one. You do the don't more than you do the do. Sorry. To do sorry, I'm having trouble laughing. So, because it becomes more attractive. I even give the example of don't think in the classes. You say, don't think of a pink elephant. Now, who thinks of a pink elephant? Who wants to think of a pink elephant? But as soon as it's prohibited, you think of it. Or you try not to think of it, you think of it. So, So what do we do about it? Because we have all these 4 regulated principles. Don't have illicit sex. Okay. Don't. I'm going to try not to have illicit Don't take intoxication. I mean, just like we're like a spiritual AA movement, like in the AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. So we're like Maya Anonymous, except we add more things. We're not just one thing. We have 4 things. Don't wake up late. Don't do this. Don't associate with karmis. Don't eat food cooked by karmis. Karmi food. Oh my God. It's too much, So I remember traveling with 2 devotees who were no longer sannyasis, nice people. And I was a brahmachari traveling with them, and they were just talking about ladies in that particular regard. And just like, oh my God, it was just like attending a pornographic movie or something like that. And I said to them, you guys think about ladies more than ladies or the Grajas think of ladies. They got so angry they almost killed me. You know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. So, and I ran away with their deities. So, it's an interesting story. And I'll tell you one day, I'll tell you that story. So, therefore, in our Krishna consciousness, we should forget about the regulated principles and think positively what we want to achieve. Just like changing your diet. I have I had personal experience. That's right, no water. No agua, por favor. I had personal experience that at one particular point I changed my diet. The doctor told me previously to give up a particular type of food, and I had said, I'd rather die. And he said, you will. So instead, after about 5 years and heart pain, I started to meditate. What is the purpose of my life? What is the goal of my life? And by meditating on that, thinking about that, I thought, I want to serve Krishna, I want to serve Prabhupada, I want to live longer. What is the strategy for living longer? And the strategy was, eating certain types of food and avoiding other types of food. But not thinking of the avoiding, but just thinking positively. And then I was able to change the diet quite easily. I mean, from one day to another. So we have all these challenges in Krishna consciousness, and we have to be very careful about negative thoughts. Of course, another point is stop negative thoughts. That's also a double negative, which is really interesting. Now, there's a negative thought. I hate you. No, don't hate her. Don't hate her. And then you stop the negative thoughts of stopping the negative thoughts of stopping the negative thoughts. So you get like a triple, a quadruple, a quintuple, or sextuple, whatever it is. Negative. So instead, my recommendation is you just think of what are your goals in life? What do you want? The why factor. Again, we talk about that. And if you think about your why factor, what is the purpose of your life, then everything else is seen as a strategy rather than as a negation. But we should be alert when we see these negative things coming in and understanding, not, let us say, directly try to get rid of them, but understanding they're impediments to achieve my particular goal, which hopefully is Krishna consciousness. They're impediments, so therefore, let me look at the positive. Let me look at things I can do. And, Prabhupada was like that when he was preaching to us, too. Of course, he jokes sometimes saying that we have so many do-nots. Because as soon as we start thinking about the negative, as soon as it's like Jayato Vishak Pum Samasango Station Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamakrota Pijayate. It actually builds up. I mean, that's another point about our friend here, Viprachiti, that he keeps repeating, doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for some sort of success. So why does this happen? Why does this particular dynamic happen? And he keeps repeating the same thing. Doesn't he think, well, let me employ some other strategy? Because of the cyclical nature, which is also another point that I want to bring out in class, the cyclical nature of anger. Even though he's focused in hate, then his anger, based upon Krishna's description in the Bhagavad Gita, Jayato Vishak Pumsama Sango Station Vijayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kama Krota Vijayate, etc. Then his anger reaches a peak, and then it goes down into just like complete hopelessness, and then it goes up again. And you see that it's like a cycle. I've always wanted to understand why that cycle occurs in people that I've observed. When there's some abusive situation, someone will actually abuse someone else, and then after a while, they'll say they're sorry and everything appears to be all right. And then it goes up again. It's because of this Jayato Vishal Pumsam Sangas Devshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kama Krota Vijayate Prakura Bhavati Samaha Smriti Vin Brahmaha Smriti Brahmshad Nashtabudi Nashtabudi Vinashyati. That one actually just like completely loses it after a while and becomes completely depressed, unhappy in the mode of ignorance. And then again, the anger has to build up. So it goes in a cycle. And Krishna describes this very, very nicely. So Viprachiti is experiencing that too. He gets discouraged and then he gets encouraged again and goes up and tries it again. And Krishna, on the other hand, just one final point. Krishna, on the other hand, starts to, after 17 times of defeating Viprachiti, thinks, this guy's not going to give up. So let me employ some other strategy in dealing with him. He transports everybody to Dwarka. So anyway, so these are some of the points that I got from this particular verse. Any questions or comments? Yes. Yeah. We can become more determined by cultivating the mode of goodness. You understand? Or you can become very determined by cultivating the mode of passion, if you like. Because someone in the mode of passion is extremely determined, right? Extremely determined because he wants prestige, he wants property, he wants just to be the center. And so in the mode of goodness is determined because he wants to be either Krishna conscious, pure goodness, or he wants liberation from this material world. So we should be able to identify which modes are affecting us, because the modes are what shapes our consciousness. Does that make sense? So if you're not determined, if you're just like wishy-washy, or like a wet noodle, it's an interesting example, like trying to beat someone with a wet noodle. So if you're like a wet noodle, I just love that example, just like. So if you're like a wet noodle, that means mode of ignorance. And so the way to deal with this is to take association in the mode of goodness. You hear from Srila Prabhupada, that's the mode of Vishuddha Sattva, or Shuddha Sattva. You hear from Prabhupada, you read Prabhupada's books, you get encouraged. If you hear from those who are in the mode of passion, you will absorb the mode of passion. If you hear from those in the mode of ignorance, you will absorb the mode of ignorance. It just depends how you pick your association. It's as easy as that. I mean, you may think I'm just doing something simple, like listening to my old songs that I used to be attached to. I want to hold your hand. So, yeah, I want to hold your hand. Yeah. So, oh my God, too late. Say it. So it's not like that. If you hear that, eventually you're going to want to hold some Jiva soul's hand. But not during the kirtan. Namo Vishnu Vajaya Krishna Vistaya Mudai Srimate Bhaktivedanta Saminiti Namane Srimate Bhaktivedanta Saminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Vachanegi Nirvisesha Shunyavani Vasyacharate Sacharane Devi Shunyavani Makshachagote Yashri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Sivasadi Gauranga Vrinda Sri Advaita Gadada Sivasadi Gauranga Vrinda Sri Krishna Nidana Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Sivasadi Gauranga Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Sivasadi Gauranga Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Nara Siva Sade Narakta Brenda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Gokinana Radha, Gokinana Radhe. Jaya Radha, Gokinana Radha, Gokinana Radhe. Jaya Radha, hey, Jaya Radhe, Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Shri Radhe. Jai Om Vishnupad. Hanuman Sahib.
Chaitotarpanam Arjanam Bhadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipan